Okay, 116. At ubi, but when the hostile army of the enemy, having from their terminus, from their boundaries, and having dispersed the indigenous people of the island, so these are ablatives, when this hostile army had reversed home, they began, looks like the Britons began, Paulatum, gradually, little by little, to resume their strength and their spirit. Present participling, emerging from their hiding places, in which they had abdited themselves, where they'd hidden themselves, and with unanimous consent, with one mind, praying, precanting for the present participles for auxilium from the heavens, or help from the above, that they should not be deleted or destroyed ad internectum. This is like to an eternal destruction, usque quaque being the adverbial looking thing. They don't want to be destroyed forever. Utabantor takes the ablative. They were using, in that time, for their ablative, Ambrosio Oronalius as their duke, as their leader. So the Britons were using this guy. He was a modest man who alone, by chance of a Roman family, had superfuated. He had remained alive in the pre fati. Fati means spoken, pre means aforementioned. So of the aforementioned tempesti, tribulations, I guess, when they were all, the indigenous people were driven out. Looks like his parents had been Archesists. His parents had been killed in this same driving out by the hostile army. Anyway, his parents had the name and the insignia they had been bearing. So his dead parents had been bearing the name and insignia of kings, regio. Okay, so then with this guy as their leader, the Britons took some strength, and provoking the victors, this hostile army people, to battle, they took up a victory. They made a victory with God himself favouring. And from this time, now the citizens, now the enemy, here the enemy, and now and then the citizens, that's just correlatives, would win. So they had several fights. Sometimes the citizens of the island would win, sometimes the enemy would win. As far as up to the year of the besieging of Bede Mountain, when, not with minimal strags or destruction, did they give to the same enemy. So the Britons didn't give a minimal amount of destruction, so not being minimal would mean an extremely great amount of destruction they gave the enemy. This was in the XL around and for, so 44 years of the arrival of these enemies into Britain. This happened. But these things post-mortem, so later on. Okay, and YouTube's taken down my links again, but that's my problem, I guess. 117. Okay, sane. This means clearly, it's probably a filler word. Okay, so before porkos enos, so a few years before the Adventists, the arrival of these, Pelagian heresies had been enlated or brought in to the island through Agricola. He was the filium, the son of Severanius, the bishop of Pelagia. This had Comacula verited, this had stained the faith of the Britons, put me an alternate spelling, with this foul pestilence of this heresy. Virum Britanniae, but the Britons, when neither did they want to suscipere, take up this dogma, perverse, ulla tennis, as far as in any way, so tennis always takes the ablative in front of it, so it's just used as an adverb. So they didn't want in any way to take up this dogma, or what do they want to do? Or the grace of Christ by blaspheming, or neither were they vesutiam, usually means rather clever or something, so they weren't suffice to refute the nefarious of the vesutianess, the cunningness of this nefarious persuasions, by contesting in words. So they invented or found this health-giving sort of plan, concilium, that from the Gallic antistites, priests, they would require maybe some help in a spiritual war of this spiritual nature. Quam ob causam, for which reason a big synod or council was collected together, a great one, and they querubunted, they sought in common who illic to there in Gaul to succour or get help they ought to send to succour the fides, to help the faith. And by the judgment of all, there were elected apostolic sacerdotes, apostolic priests, Germanus of these people, and shows it's a people of this place or region, or to this blah blah blah. And the second guy, Lupus, these were the bishops of these cities, and this other cities, Troy or something, Troy Casa, who to confirm or strengthen the faith would go to Britain on this mission of celestial grace or something, to confirm the strength of the Britons. So these were the people chosen in Gaul, Germanus and Lupus. And I'm pretty sure I set up this daily dictionary, Versutia, cunning and craft of Versutia. There might even be an adjective of it somewhere as well. Who? These two people who, with prompt devotion, skipper, they took up the prayers, and by order of the Holy Church, the Sancta Ecclesia, they entered the ocean, and as far as the middle of their journey, which was from the Bay of Gaul as far as Britain, where they were aiming at, with secundus flatibus, with favourable blasts of winds, the ship was safe and it was flying along. Tum subito, two cool adverbs. Then suddenly there occurred to these people continuing on their journey, or pergentibus, by Middle Ages tends to mean more than just continuing, it just means going. The inimical force of demons, the hostile force of demons suddenly occurred, who, for such and the type of man, who are aiming to recuperate the health of the people, or the spiritual health of the Britons, they were invigorating. These demons were begrudging or envying them. These demons concited or excited up procellas, which are storms. The sky and the day they subduced, they took away with a night time of clouds. Okay. The vela, the sails could not sustain the fury of the winds. The ministeri, the job of the sailors, the ministeria victa. So the job of the sailors has been beaten, and they ceded. They were bore along by the prayers of the sailors, not by viribus, not by the strength of them. And by chance, the Dux himself, captain of the ship, and the pontifex, who was a Germanicus or something, and the priest was broken in body by lassitude, by tiredness, and he resolutus, he listened himself off into sleep. Sapor. Tum viro, but then, quasi as if the fighting back had ceased, the tempest, the storm, which was excited, the stirred up storm convaluated, it means it got stronger, and now they were mergabouting, they were sinking into the fluctibus, into the waves which were superfusing, which were flying over of the ship, which were going over the ship. They started to sink. And if you haven't downloaded things, you probably have to wait another couple of months till YouTube gives me back that thing. It's probably going to be a constant problem, but that's it.